Bang, bang, bang! Pew, pew, pew! It's time to review Cowboys and Aliens. Cowboys and Aliens is a movie that delivers on the title's promise. No more, no less. This is literally a Western that happens to have aliens in it. Premise is as simple as it gets, which is actually surprising when you think it took 7 writers, and Steven Spielberg, and Ron Howard, and Jon Favreau to come up with this. Now, the story involves Daniel Craig waking up in the desert. He doesn't know who he is, or why he's there, or why he has this weird bracelet on his arm. So he shows up to the nearest town and immediately gets himself into trouble because it turns out he is a robber and a murderer. But before he can be taken off to the feds, a flying demon attacks the town and starts snatching people up. Lucky for them, though, Daniel Craig's bracelet turns out to be a weapon to fend them off. Also lucky for us is that every single character seems to have a loved one taken by the aliens. It's almost like they were looking down and saying, like, oh, make sure you get one from each family so they can avenge them? I don't know. But it's funny because it's just like, they took my wife, they took my son, they took my grandpa, they took my third cousin's dentist. Let's go get him. This is all played completely serious. There's no tongue-in-cheek humor directed at the aliens. No one says stuff like, are those aliens? Because they have no idea what aliens are. The problem is, while the aliens kind of have a compelling reason to be there, they're searching for gold and it's necessary for them to survive, they are not that compelling themselves. The aliens are nondescript, slimy, lots of appendages and teeth, and nothing you haven't seen before. So that basically puts the onus on the Cowboys to keep everything afloat. And luckily, all the performances are top-notch. Daniel Craig is a badass. I think he only has like 12 lines in the whole movie, and 10 of them are just him saying, I don't know. But it doesn't matter. All of his character is in his mannerisms. The dude does all of his problem solving with punches. And I am fine with that. It's great. He was born to play roles like this. Also, we've got Harrison Ford as the surly, grumpy, grouchy rancher, and his mumbly voice actually works to his advantage in this role. He's given 2 scenes where basically he speechifies to different people, and they're really fun to watch. Like, who wouldn't love watching him tell a little kid, be a man? It's great. That's great stuff.
You give him to me now, or I'm gonna take him.
In the Western, he would be the villain, and he's a mean guy in the beginning. He is a bad guy. But it's almost as if you can watch Jon Favreau realizing, oh my god, we have Harrison Ford in this movie. We have to make him act more like Harrison Ford. And as the movie goes on, he becomes softer and softer, and by the end, he's just like an old, nice grandpa. Now, I understand some of that has to do with character development, but he loses the bite he had in the opening scenes. Now, there is one weak link, and if you've seen the movie, you know who I'm talking about. Olivia Wilde. I couldn't help but laugh every time she came on screen. And it's just this weird way that she's acting. You know, she's standing in the background, she's got a dress on, and then there's like a gun holster, and it's like, I'm tough. And at first you think it's just horrible casting, but there is a revelation that comes halfway through the movie that kind of explains why she's acting so silly, but it's also really undercooked and more confusing than anything. It's just kind of like, oh, that's okay, I guess. But it doesn't really help, and all you're left with is an awkward, out-of-place Olivia Wilde, whose main characteristic is that she never runs out of eyeliner. Also, I would like to see a staring contest between Olivia Wilde and Daniel Craig to see who has the more piercing eyes. Those are 2 beautiful people, and I feel like if you accidentally walked in between their gaze, you would have an orgasm or something. I don't know. But you're not here to listen to me talk about orgasm-inducing eyes. That's weird, and I don't think I have them. Do I? No. You're here to listen to me talk about... Alright, fucking shit. You're here to listen to me talk about the Cowboys battling aliens. Pew pew! Bang bang bang! And the action overall is pretty solid. I would say everything with the flying machines is kind of weak. It's stuff that you've seen before. But once it gets down to hand-to-hand combat, where it's aliens battling cowboys and Indians who only have guns and spears and one lasso, apparently. You would think that ranchers would have more than one lasso, but I only saw one in this movie. That stuff is all really cool to watch. When they get to the final showdown between Daniel Craig and the only recognizable alien in the movie, it leaves a little to be desired. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that, you know, these aliens are essentially bugs, so he's just fighting a bug, and you don't really get a lot of satisfaction out of that. Look, Cowboys and Aliens is a lot of fun. Yes, I wish the aliens were more distinct, crazy, interesting, anything, and with the pedigree involved in this film, this should have been nothing short of flat-out phenomenal. In that respect, it's a disappointment. But I was never bored, and I never expected anything more than the title suggested. As a nerd, it's a joy to watch Daniel Craig and grumpy Harrison Ford do their thing, and I'm actually glad that they took the subject matter seriously without winking at the audience a bunch and turning it into a silly joke. I would say that Cowboys and Aliens is the reason matinees exist. If you're looking for something to do on a Saturday, this is just a good time.